Guacamole is not a new idea by any means. It has its roots back to ancient Aztec times, and today I'm going to be showing you my 5-ingredient guacamole. It's super easy, and I'm even going to show you how to make something to dip into it. Let's get to it. G'day avocado enthusiasts and welcome to this video. I love guacamole. It's one of my favorite ways to eat avocados and it's super easy to make, and I'm going to be using only 5 ingredients to make mine today. And I'm also going to be showing you how to make some pita chips. Really easy, really simple, really yummy way to eat the guacamole. So let's get started. I'm not going to make a super small amount today. This is more than I will eat. I'm going to be doing some sharing with this a bit later. So I'm going to make a slightly larger version. But if you want to do a smaller version just for yourself, if you just want to eat it by yourself, just scale back the number of avocados and use less of the other ingredients. Let's find out what we need. We first need, of course, the star of the show, the avocados. I am using 4 avocados for this recipe. These are very ripe. They are soft, which means they're the most flavoursome that they're going to be. They're also really easy to mash and turn into guacamole when they are on the riper side. If they're a bit overripe, that's actually perfect for guacamole. So if you've been keeping 1 or 2 or 3 around and they've passed their prime, they're a bit too soft, guacamole is the perfect option for you. I'm also going to need the juice of a lemon. I've got a lemon here, but you can just use lemon juice for this. I'm also adding a red onion. I'm using a small one. If you prefer not to have onion, that's fine. If you want to have slightly less onion, that's also okay. This is not an exact science. I also like to add to mine a handful of tomatoes. I'm using cherry tomatoes for this. You can use other tomatoes as well. I prefer using really sweet flavoursome ones. The cherry tomatoes are the only ones I could get that really cover that in, because it's winter here in Australia at the moment and we don't have ripe ones. Homegrown ones that are beautiful and flavoursome are best for this. And I'm also going to add salt, but that's to taste. If you want to add other things like chili or jalapenos, absolutely go for it. I'm not going to be doing that today though. Now we need to prepare our avocados for this. Now, please be careful when you do this. Lots of people end up in the hospital every year with avocado related injuries. Now, not from the avocado itself, but from really poor knife skills. So you might see people cutting it in their hand. You might see people using the knife to remove the pit while the avocado is in their hand. They miss, they have to go and get stitches. We're not going to be doing that today. I'm going to use a knife. This one is a small serrated edge one. You can just use a butter knife for this though, if the avocado is ripe. I'm going to put the avocado on my chopping board, and the avocado is not going to go into my hand really. I'm going to leave it on the chopping board. I'm going to come in parallel with the chopping board with the knife, and I'm going to put it in. I'm going to leave the knife where it is, and I'm going to rotate the avocado. Notice how the knife is only really going backwards and forwards, otherwise it's staying put. I'm going to take the knife out once I've gone all the way around. I'm going to rotate the avocado 90 degrees, and I'm going to do the same thing. Rotate that around, and then what we're left with is 4 quarters of avocado. The seed just pops out like that, and we're ready to go. You can, cut the flesh out, but usually you can actually just peel the skin off of the flesh of it, which is great, super easy. But because we're making guacamole, you don't have to be super careful about, keeping the avocados intact. And that's one of the avocados done. I need to put it in a medium-sized mixing bowl, so I'm going to do that. Now, I could throw out the skin and the seed. You know this channel, I'm probably going to grow something with this seed, but today I'm also not going to throw away the skin. That's a video for another time. So I'm just going to set them aside and continue to prepare the other 3 avocados. My avocados are in the bowl. And now it's time for me to get my other ingredients ready. I'm going to start by dicing up my tomatoes. I've got cherry tomatoes, so I'm going to need to take my time in making them much smaller. Let's get to that now. I reckon that'll be enough. So I'll just add them into my bowl. The next thing is the onion. Now, a small onion is all you need for this one. In fact, this one may even be a touch large. I may only use half of this one. We'll start by getting rid of the outer layer. I can use my knife for that. Don't use white onion for this. You'd be better off using no onion than white onion. I like using onion. It gives it a touch of bite without making it spicy. So if that's what you're into, that makes it easy. I'm gonna start with just using half of it, and if I find later that I want to add a bit more, I can add a bit more. For this, we want it in really fine bits. You don't want to be biting into the onion, you just want it to be big enough to give it some flavor, but not really too much crunch. Oh, and it's starting to make me tear up a little bit here. Add that to the mix as well. My bowl is looking very colorful at this point, and now it's time to add the juice of a lemon. I don't need to squeeze everything out of this. I just need a bit of it. So if you get all the juice out of one half, if it's a super juicy lemon, you probably don't need the second one, but you can adjust it to taste. So for that, you can use lemon juicer, or you can, oh, that's a good lemon actually. Oh, look at that. That's nice. Okay, you can use the lemon juicer, or you can just like squeeze it straight into the bowl like that. You know what, that's a really juicy lemon. I'm only gonna use half. I'm gonna wrap the other half of the onion and the lemon up in cling wrap, or put it in a container, and I'll use them another time. Now I'm sure someone's gonna be going, why aren't you using a juicer? Because, I don't know. You can use a juicer, absolutely, but this also works reasonably well. Now we're looking pretty close to being done. I'm just going to add a few pinches of salt. You can add more or less if you want to, just to give it a little bit more flavor. And then it's time to mash it. When it comes to mashing, if you're doing a really small one, you can use a fork, but the best tool to use is a potato masher. So that's what I'm going to be using here. It's going to take me a little bit to just mash everything up, because I've not cut my avocados into small pieces at all because they're fairly ripe. So I'm just going to get mashing, and I'll see you in a moment. And we want to go until it is a paste, so that you don't have any big chunks of avocado. This is one of the reasons why ripe avocados are the best idea for this. So we just want to mash it until it is that paste. You can see there is still tomato, there's some onion, but there's a lot of green, and that's looking really good. I'm going to try some. That's fantastic. I'm going to add a little more salt, mix it a bit more, but that's looking really good. I recommend not adding all of the lemon juice and onion first up, because I can taste that's fantastic. If I had double the amount of lemon, it would probably be too acidic, so don't put it all in at once. So if you're not sure, add more later rather than earlier, because it's really hard to get lemon juice and onion out, because they can be quite dominating flavors, and we want the avocado to be the star of the show here. All right, now that's looking absolutely gorgeous, looking delicious. I can't wait to eat it, but generally speaking, we don't just have guacamole by itself, which is where the next part of this video comes in. We're going to make something to dip it into. I'm going to cover this and put it in the fridge so it doesn't oxidize and go brown. It's okay if it goes a bit brown with oxidization. It doesn't change the flavor. It's just a chemical reaction happening with the air, turning it brown. Not a big deal, but I want to keep it looking fresh. So I'm going to cover it, put it in the fridge while I'm doing the rest of this. There we go. So now we're going to make some pita chips. This is super easy. I've started by preheating the oven, fan forced, 220 degrees. We want it pretty warm, so I'm going to heat it up while I'm preparing this. I need some pita bread. Here's some here. And I'm also going to need some olive oil. You can use canola oil, but I prefer olive oil for this. And of course, the last thing, salt. Now I'm going to get some lined baking trays and some kitchen scissors. Okay, now let's cut this up. There are a few ways that you can do this. You can cut them into triangles and have both sides cooking. I actually like to double the amount of chips that I get by pulling this thing in half first. I can cut all the way around if I want to, or I can kind of just start pulling it apart. It's okay if it's a bit ripped up. That's not going to be a big deal. There we go. So I've got 2 halves of pita here. Now what I'm gonna do is use a basting brush and the olive oil to coat both sides in oil. They don't need to be super saturated. They don't need to be saturated at all. Just need to have some oil on it. So let's do that now. I filled a small bowl with olive oil instead of pouring it straight onto the bread because I don't want it to be like saturated and I don't have a fine applicator on this bottle. So I'm just making sure there's a bit of oil on all of it. We'll flip it over and do the same on this side. I'd like to liberally apply salt to both sides now. And use the scissors to cut it into dippable chip sizes. And just gotta spread them around the tray. I'm gonna do the other half of the bread now, and then we'll be ready to add them into the oven. They are looking ready to go. I'm going to put them in my hot oven now. They don't need long. They only need a few minutes on each side. I'm going to turn them once as they cook, just to get them nice and golden and crisp on each side. We don't want to overdo it, otherwise they will be burnt, which we don't want. Let's add them into the oven now and watch them go. Then once the pita chips have cooled, which doesn't take long, they are ready to serve. Now I am by no means excellent at serving up the food in an aesthetically pleasing way, but here's some glamour shots. But of course, the most important thing is not does it look good, but does it taste good? So I'm going to take my beautiful crispy pita chip, going to dip it into the guacamole, get a nice healthy sized amount there, and down it goes. Fantastic. The avocado here is the queen of the show, but of course there are other flavors going on. You get that acidity and sweetness from the tomato and the lemon juice. You get a touch of bite from the onion, and it's a fantastic guacamole, if I do say so myself, which of course I do. Now, there are ways that you can modify this one. If you like to have some actual spice instead of just bite in your guacamole, adding chilies, adding capsicum, adding jalapenos, absolutely great ideas for you. You can modify this one. If you don't like tomato, take it out. If you don't like onion, take it out. I find that you don't really just want to do mashed avocado, though you can, but there are certainly other things that you can add in there. And these chips are super easy to make as well. There's 3 ingredients there, there's 5 ingredients in the guacamole. Salt is one of both of those ingredients. So this is a super easy snack. It took, not very long to make. And now I have like 4 seeds that I can grow more avocado trees from. How exciting. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that you have enjoyed it, and I hope that you feel inspired to make your own guacamole. It's super easy to do and it's absolutely delicious. So thank you so much for joining me today. If you'd like to see more of my videos, please consider subscribing to Scott Grows an Avocado Tree, where I make videos on all kinds of avocado related topics. I'm also on Instagram at Scott Grows an Avocado Tree. And I'd also like to give an especially big thank you to my fantastic Patreon members. So thank you very much to all of these fantastic people who are on the screen now. They help me to continue to make videos. And if you'd like to help me to continue to make videos, please consider checking out my Patreon. You will get monthly Scott Grows a Kiwi Vine videos, and you'll get a chance to be the sponsor of the week of the year-long avocado time lapse. Thanks once again for watching. Take care, and I will see you next time. I'm gonna have some more of this. It's a good crunch.
Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree. Scott grows an avocado tree.